From my home state of Louisiana, Representative Clay Higgins, the only no vote. And when we read why Representative Higgins voted no, you would swear you were listening to Professor Toto. He said, I have been a principled, you hear that word principle? Some of us stand on the principles of this great republic. Not a democracy where the mob can change law and order. He said, I have been a no on this bill from the beginning. What was wrong with this bill 3 months ago is still wrong today. It abandons, listen carefully, 250 years of criminal justice procedure in America. That's what I've been preaching. And everybody thinks I'm so strange and so weird. I not only believe in a nation of law, but I also believe in a nation of order, procedure, protocol. And they were all violated to please a bunch of ninnies that feel like they can override law and order. Like he said, this man right here gets it. 250 years, you were not able to demand investigative files on anybody. You were protected. The people were protected. I have a question for you. Have you read this bill? Oh, I have, because I'm your professor. It's my job. I was terrorized when I read it. It specifically says there will be no redactions for guilt by association, no redaction at all for reputational damage. It says this in the bill, there will be no redactions for embarrassment. All of you people that wanted to help the victims, you did it by creating many more victims. You're a hypocrite. You don't understand. 250 years of judicial procedure must not be overridden because you want to help victims by creating more victims. This man gets it. Let's continue reading. As written, this bill reveals and injures thousands. I predict people will take their lives over this. I also predict no one will go to prison. I'll tell you why I predict that. This here is going to be the biggest shell game you've ever seen. It's never been about the victims. If it was about the victims, we would protect these victims. Nobody cares about creating new victims. We want to help. Hey, you're wanting to help victims where 60% of the victims they don't want anybody to know who they don't want this. 60%. Oh, no, please. Oh, now it does say they're going to redact the names of the sexual victims. Great. But if I read that file and I know someone and I start reading circumstances and situations, and I can put two and two together and figure out who that. You don't think news reporters are not going to figure out who these victims are, show up at their door knocking for a story? Come on. They were supposed to all be protected by law and order, judicial process. Here's what he said. Witnesses, people that provided alibis, family members, none of those people are being redacted. None of the witnesses, only the sexual victims are being redacted. If enacted in its current form, this type of broad reveal of criminal investigative files released to a rabid media will absolutely result in innocent people being hurt. He said, not with my vote. This man may be the only patriot in the House of Representatives. He stood alone. That's how I feel. I've listened to every other podcaster out there. All I hear people saying is Israel, 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 Epstein, 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 release the files, like a bunch of rabid dogs. Nobody with a reasonable mind said, no, wait a minute. No. We don't help victims by creating more victims. Not in America. President Trump, you've still got time to unwash your hands. That's what President Trump did. He did like Pilate. Pilate looked at all the files against Jesus. He looked at all of the accusations. He was the Justice Department. He realized there was accusations, but there was no evidence. And he said, I'm not going to prosecute this man. The crowd cried out for the files. Give them to us. Finally, Pilate did what Trump did. Said, you know what? I tried to protect y'all from the curse you're bringing on yourself. But if you want it, I'll wash my hands. And Pilate became a coward that day. Now, why do I say that no one's going to go to prison over this? I hope I eat those words. I hope I have to. I don't think I will, and here's why. All the files that are going to be released in the city square in the next 30 days, there are people right now already probably making their suicide plans, not because they're guilty, but because everyone around them will think they are. These files that all of you are fixing to get a chance to see, you're going to get to read all about the child pornography and the pornographic stuff. Oh yeah, you're going to get it all. You're going to get it all. You're going to get where he touched them. And this world drives me insane. People love this stuff. But here's the problem. When someone has been violated, you don't take that to the court of public opinion. You take it to the court of law. And these victims, they go to the attorney and they file their complaint. That person looks and says, yeah, I see you've got a great testimony here. The only problem is we have no corroborating evidence. And I've got to go before a jury of your peers. Convince them to put away a man that took a picture with Epstein, and they're going to put him away for 30 years. No, I'm not going to do it. Why? Order. Our church has order. We have a process and we go by it. And if you don't, you're disfellowshipped. We have law and order. Step one, you have a problem with somebody, you go directly to them. You don't go to anybody else. If you bypass that order, you're out of order. That is what protects everyone. But we threw it all away today. Threw it to the wind today. So Mr. Clay Higgins, thank you. I'm going to get to know who you are, sir, from Louisiana. On behalf of the Republic, I want to thank you, sir. Yes, we all want every guilty person charged. We want and can I tell you what? The two guilty people, guess what? Law and order did its job. Ghislaine Maxwell and Epstein, one was in prison, one was headed to prison. The law was working. Order was working. And guess what Epstein would have done? For a deal, don't you think he would have flipped and given them the evidence they needed? But the man's dead. I think everybody's just mad that he got out of it. He took the coward's way out, and we want somebody to take his place. So here's what I want to do tonight. Mr. Higgins, I hope you run for president, sir. Can you imagine the hate calls that this man is getting? Well, I have his business card. I'm calling almost 12,000 of you tonight to call this man. Leave him a voicemail. He's got to go to bed tonight with hate all around him. Call file. They're calling him everything. Call him. President Trump, there's still time not to sign this bill, Mr. President. Of course, if he don't, it's going to be because he's a pedophile. You know how that you know how it goes. What a world we're living in today, right? What we live in today. Call Clay Higgins. Would you do that as a favor to me? I've already called. Leave it. No, Robert McLeod. I don't think his next. My God, if you take a stand anymore, your name's on the list. That's why. People, do you know I got people thinking that I'm getting $7,000 in Israel because I'm just telling what I believe? Honey, I checked my bank account. They're not there yet. Mr. President, you don't have to sign this bill. Would you, please, let him hear those voices that say, hey, there's still a few of us that believe in the republic, the rule of law and order, you for maintaining decorum and protocol. Elizabeth Brody, you're a true patriot. Elizabeth Brody said, I will call him. Thank you, Elizabeth. And I know. All right. So anyway, that. Now, there's something else I need to do tonight. I need to deal with one of the biggest lies going all over the interweb. I'm fixing to destroy a lie. I'm going to give you the ammunition you need. Misty plans to call. Thank you, Misty. D said he is calling. Shelley Rose is calling. Barbara, Old Moonstones is going to call. Shelley Rose is calling. All, thank you all. Deborah Betts is going to call. Now, let me just say, I don't believe the House would have voted for this if President Trump wouldn't have told them to. I'm giving grace to President Trump because nobody wants to be accused of pedophilia. I'm giving grace because I don't know what I would have done. I would hope I would have stood up for the Republic. He's going to call. Woodstock is calling. Jeffrey Dube is calling. Colleen Gregory just called and left a message. Thank you, Colleen Gregory. Betty Morgan's calling. Thank you, Betty. Thank you. Gino Young is calling. Melissa for the Mitten is calling. Ramir calling. Old Moonstones is calling. P. Cross is calling. Mother Dorothy Simmons is sending a thank you card. Now there's a great idea. Bob Tabor said we called. Thank you, Bob Tabor.